At the beginning of the story, we see a tower from which a very bright light is coming out. And there is a yellow-colored crystal on top of that tower. And we see some female disciples who are waiting for someone. And all those female disciples are saying, "Welcome to the Demon Lord Ancestor out of seclusion." Then the door inside opens and someone is coming from the front, and seeing him, all the female disciples are greeting him. And they are saying, "We congratulate our ancestors for his successful breakthrough and becoming the first person who reached Martial Saint Realm. May the Demon Lord Ancestor live for eternity, and remain unparalleled throughout the world." Then that boy comes out and a dangerous aura is coming out from inside him, but he is getting very confused. And he is looking here and there. Then a female disciple comes in front of him and says, "Congratulations, Master." And the boy gets nervous on hearing this. But he is thinking in his mind that I have to remain calm. Then the female disciple says to the boy, "Master, your new body is handsome. You've become hundreds of years younger." Then the disciple clings to the boy, and the boy is trying to calm himself down. But at the same time his attention is going somewhere else, due to which he is blushing, and he is thinking, what on earth is going on with all this? Most of my memories have vanished into thin air. I vaguely remember. My name is Lu Hing. And Lu Hing is remembering how he came to this place. And in front of him is an old man, who is doing cultivation. Then when he sees Lu Hing, he says, "Who has?" And Lu Hing is thinking, "It seems like I've crossed over." Then the old man angrily tells Lu Hing, "To think that you took advantage of my cultivation." And the old man thinks that Lu Hing wants to take away his cultivation. So he goes ahead to attack Lu Hing, and attacks him. And Lu Hing is very scared and he is thinking, what's even more outrageous is. But then the old man falls down, and he becomes very weak and is saying, Youngsters nowadays don't talk about martial ethics." And Lu Hing is saying nervously, "This has nothing to do with me, I didn't lay a finger on you. It seems like the owner of the barrier was frightened to death by me." But when Lu Hing looks down, he realizes that he is naked, and he is very surprised and he says, "What? How am I naked?" And when Lu Hing looks ahead, he sees the old man's clothes and he says, "Are these the old man's clothes? Let's put it on first. And afterwards. Trouble has only just begun." Then Lu Hing comes out wearing the old man's clothes. And the disciple asks Lu Hing, "Why does the master seem somewhat uneasy?" And Lu Hing laughs and says no. Then the female disciple says, "Is it? A young body is more energetic, are you interested in Jiyao?" And Lu Hing starts blushing on hearing this. Then we see a lot of female disciples, and they are saying to Jiang Jiyao, "What are you doing?" And another female disciple says, "The master's uneasiness probably indicates that they've figured out the battle situation." And a disciple says, "Exactly, the master doesn't seem interested in you at all, he is probably worried about the demon temple." So Jiang Jiao moves away from Lu Hing, and she tells Lu Hing, "I've failed in my duty." But Lu Hing gets confused. But Jiang Jiao further says the master has been in seclusion for several days. Disciple Jiang Jiao will report recent battle situations to you first. In February of this year, 4th junior sister Ning Yanran killed the patriarch of the Dark Flame sect, and his name, Ning Yanran, 4th disciple. And Ning Yanran says, "More than 20,000 disciples have already submitted to us." In July, 2nd senior sister Shiqian and 5th junior sister Ji Rushlang planned an assassination of the patriarch of the Azure Feather sect, successfully gaining control over the largest sect in the western frontier, the Azure Feather sect. And we see 2 female disciples. The name of the first one, Shiqian, 2nd disciple, and the second one's name is Ji Rushuang, 5th disciple. And its name is Long Xian, 1st disciple. And Ning Yanran says, "Last month, senior sister Long Zlian personally went to the strongholds of the Wudong, Kunlun, and Amei sects, and Jiang Jiao says, "Master, before you entered seclusion, you mentioned that we were to control the entire Qingyun continent. So during this period, Jiao has been busy devising our battle strategies." But Lu Hing is thinking, why? Are they all women? Moreover, this group of people killing Sari in order to control the entire continent, aren't they just a group of female demons? Fuck. And this Jiang Jiao said just now? I ordered them to do these. As their master, isn't he a great demon? If these girls find out that I frightened their master to death, they would certainly not spare my life. And Jiang Jiao clings to Lu Heng and says to him, Master, despite our glorious achievements in battle, the righteous sects have formed the demon-slaying alliance. So isn't it time for you, old man, to personally take action? And Lu Heng asks Jiang Jiao, what demons are they trying to slay? So Shi Qian tells him, there are only more than 30,000 people. Since the master has already reached martial saint realm, it's just a matter of flicking a finger. But Lu Heng is getting angry and thinking, I see now, that old man Motian is always sending his disciples to cause trouble. But then he wants me to take the blame. This is really unfair. And Shi Qian says, Master, the holy son of Mount Amei is half step away from reaching the martial saint realm. You old man must be careful when fighting. And Long Xian tells Lu Heng, stop talking nonsense. Master's cultivation transcends the heavens. With unparalleled supernatural powers, having reached the martial saint realm, are you still afraid that Master will not succeed? And Jiang Jiao says, when the time comes, Master will demonstrate his unparalleled power and open everyone's eyes. Then Ning Yanren says, in the eyes of the Master, the demon-slaying alliance is just a clown. And seeing so many female disciples, Lu Heng is thinking, I feel like you want me to be beaten by tens of thousands of people. Then Lu Heng says, I already know all of this. You may step back for now. I need to go back and consolidate my realm. You all wait here for a moment. And Lu Heng starts going inside and he is thinking, let's first return to the tower, and then see if there are any secret passages I can use to escape. And Jiang Jiao is saying, guys, haven't you noticed that the master's body is very handsome? And Ji Rushuang is saying, if I could practice dual cultivation with a master, spending a lifetime together with him is also a very pleasant thing. And Lu Heng goes inside and he is saying, alas, it seems there's no secret passage to escape through. Regardless of what, I must hide this old man's body first. If by any chance those demons discovered it. Then when Lu Heng moves his hand forward to touch the old man's body, he sees demonic energy coming out from inside the old man, which starts going directly inside Lu Heng. And seeing this, Lu Heng is unable to understand what is happening. Then the system window opens in front of Lu Heng, and the system gets reactivated. And Lu Heng is surprised to see this. Then the system tells Lu Heng, the previous host's complete mission hasn't been given yet, so this reward transfers to the current host, 3 Martial Saint Realm experience cards. Valid for 1 hour each, and seeing this, Lu Heng is saying, could this be the system that's frequently mentioned in comics? There are also 3 Martial Saint Realm experience cards? If I recall correctly, that old guy Mo Tian ascended to the realm of Martial Saint. I wonder how powerful a Martial Saint really is. And the system tells Lu Heng, memory synchronization from the previous host begins, and then Lu Heng starts remembering the old man's memory, due to which he starts having a headache. And the system is reminding Lu Heng, this is a world that venerates martial strength, where everyone regards cultivation as their lifelong duty. The kingdom of Tianfeng, located in the Qingyun continent, is an ordinary kingdom with numerous sects and countless practitioners of cultivation. Ordinary people must assimilate the essence of the spiritual energy from the heavens and earth to break through realms and become genuine practitioners, known as martial cultivators. Above martial cultivators are even more powerful realms: martial master, martial lord, martial king, and martial saint. Mo Tian's cultivation and strength are extremely powerful, already reaching the peak of martial king realm. He is the most formidable combat force throughout the entire kingdom of Tianfeng. As for the reason why this old guy recruited so many female disciples, it is to cultivate an extremely sinister demonic dual cultivation technique. Each female disciple is stunningly beautiful and possesses exceptional talent, which took Mo Tian years to find. It's a pity Mo Tian met his end before reaching the martial saint realm. This dual cultivation demonic technique requires at least the realm of martial saint to practice, so these female disciples have never been touched by Mo Tian. And seeing the old man's memories, Lu Heng is saying, the old man didn't anticipate that he would be driven to madness and die a rival during his cultivation. all these gorgeous female disciples, but none of them will get to experience dual cultivation, right? Hold on, don't I just happen to have 3 Martial Saint Realm experience cards? What kind of experience will dual cultivation be like? Hee hee. But then the old man's body starts flying in the air. And Lu Heng is surprised to see this, and Lu Heng had worn the old man's clothes, so those clothes automatically break into pieces. And Lu Heng is surprised to see this. And he becomes naked again. And the system tells Lu Heng, the equipment of the previous host cannot be used, the system has withdrawn. And Lu Heng gets very angry at the system, and starts abusing it. And he is saying, the old demon, even after he's dead, he still wants to blow up my clothes a second? But then a voice comes from outside. Waster, are you alright? We heard some noises from here. And Ji Rushuang enters the room, and seeing this Lu Heng starts feeling very shy. And Ji Rushuang is becoming very happy, and seeing Lu Heng she is saying, wow! Master, what are you doing? And Ji Rushuang is looking at Lu Heng's private part. And Lu Heng gets very nervous seeing this. Then he turns back and he is thinking, current identity is a demon lord. And Lu Heng says to Ji Rushuang, I'm currently practicing a kind of partial martial arts technique. And Lu Heng is thinking, however, it looks like I'm the only one who can see this system. And Ji Rushuang starts going closer to Lu Heng and is saying to him, Master, recently, Ji also obtained a mysterious martial arts technique. As long as we practice together, there will be miraculous effects. And Ji Rushuang catches Lu Heng from behind. And Lu Heng is saying to her, what do you want to do? And Ji Rushuang is saying to Lu Heng, you only need to contribute a bit of spiritual energy and aura. How about it? But Lu Heng is enjoying it and he is thinking, this female disciple, why so impatient? And Ji Rushuang is asking Lu Heng, are you enjoying it? Should I touch you here? And Lu Heng is also enjoying it. But Lu Heng is telling Ji Rushuang, but don't disturb the inner demon. And Lu Heng is thinking, I really want to try practicing together, but if I don't use the Martial Saint experience card to cultivate, with my mortal body, she will definitely notice that I lack any spiritual energy. The Martial Saint experience card only has 3 uses. But it's for life-saving purposes. But then Long Xian comes to that place, and seeing Long Xian, Ji Rushuang gets a little scared. And Long Xian says to Ji Rushuang, you dare to use charm techniques on Master? So Ji Rushuang says to Long Xian, I doubt I didn't use any charm techniques. How could I act so disrespectfully towards Master? Furthermore, how could Master, with his level of cultivation, be swayed by charm techniques? And Long Xian shouts at Ji Rushuang and says, but your current actions are also disrespectful to the Master. And Lu Heng is thinking, wait. So this fox demon really has charm techniques. But even without using charm techniques, you almost made me waste a life-saving card. Would using them really help? And Lu Heng is scared thinking this. Then Long Xian says to Lu Heng, but if the Master is truly willing to do dual cultivation with us, Long Xian is also willing. And after listening to Long Xian, Lu Heng is thinking, these female demons, why are they all so impatient one by one? Are you all trying to use up my 2 Martial Saint experience cards? No, I absolutely can't use it up like this. In order not to reveal the secret. Then Lu Heng says to both of them, Master is currently cultivating in seclusion within the barrier. Who gave you permission to enter? And Lu Heng is smiling and thinking, I must show the majesty of Mo Tian. And Ji Rushuang says to Lu Heng, but just now, there seem to be some anomalies in the barrier tower, and I'm also worried about the Master. Then Lu Heng says, how could anything happen to me? Everyone, go back. And hearing this both of them say, Long Xian takes her leave. Deer takes her leave. But both of them are thinking, no wonder Lord Mo Tian, even during thunderous moments, looks so handsome. Truly, Lord Mo Tian's serious and commanding presence is quite handsome. But both of them are staring at each other, and seeing this Lu Heng is not saying anything. Then Lu Heng is lying comfortably inside the tower, and he is looking at the system. And when he sees something in the system, he gets surprised and it is written in the system, the female disciple has already felt the affection of the Mo Tian, unlocking the second stage of Mo Tian's recollection. Clicking the recollection button, the host can access the Mo Tian's second memory. And seeing this, Lu Heng is saying, Mo Tian's affection? Demonic affection? What the hell? When did I ever show any affection? And why did you perverted system, suddenly remove my clothes? Give me something to wear. Can I wear any of the Mo Tian's clothes? And the system tells Lu Heng, system is searching, found unrestricted clothing options available for the host. Then Lu Heng clicks and he says, why didn't you mention there were clothes available to use earlier, huh? And the system says, because the host did not make a request. System is extracting the clothing options available for you to use. And then panties and bras start falling on Lu Heng from above. And Lu Heng is very surprised to see this, but he is very angry, and he is saying, damn, it turns out that old man has this fetish too. But Lu Heng finds a wearable cloth, which makes him happy. And he is saying, this one looks good, I'll go with this. Quickly put away the others for me. Then Lu Heng wears the cloth, and is very happy, and he is saying, next step, let's use recollection to actively peek into the Mo Tian's memories. After all, Mo Tian is the biggest demon lord, who knows how many enemies he has. And Lu Heng sits down for cultivation. In this world, the cultivation realms are divided into warriors and martial masters, martial sovereign and martial king, martial saint, martial emperor, and martial ancestor. And motivation has already broken through to the 10th level of the martial king realm. And moving forward to the martial saint realm. The sect founded by Mo Tian is called the Demon God Temple. It is the largest demonic sect on the entire Qingyun continent, with dozens of various demonic factions beneath its command. And Mo Tian has hundreds of female disciples, all of whom are outstanding talents from various tribes, with the lowest among them being at the martial master level. Due to their exceptional talents, the 5 demons Long Xian, Shizhan, Jiang Jiao, Ning Yanran, and Ji Rishuang have all become Mo Tian's personal disciples, and they have all reached the martial master realm. However, in Mo Tian's memory, there is a technique, and Mo Tian went through countless hardships to obtain it, yet there are some. And the system tells Lu Heng, the memories encrypted by the previous host are inaccessible at the moment. And Lu Heng says, huh? I can't even look at my memories. Then can you give me the secret manual? I'll study it myself. And the system says the system receives it. This is the ex-host's unpracticed exercise manual. Then Lu Heng opens the manual and starts looking at it, and he is saying, isn't this easy to open? Am I able to cultivate techniques that even Mo Tian couldn't? Let's go ask the disciples. I don't want to unwittingly practice forbidden techniques and end up possessed by demons. Then we see that Long Xian and Ji Rishuang are standing outside the tower. Then the door of the tower opens and Lu Heng starts coming out. And seeing this, both of them are very happy. And Lu Heng says to them, you guys are still standing here? That's great. Please help me see what kind of martial arts technique this is? It's been so long that I don't remember about it. And when Long Xian sees that technique, she gets very surprised and she says, the Tai's Lanshan sword technique created by the demon god 10,000 years ago. Master, you've actually unlocked IDP. Legend has it that the Tai sword technique was created by the demon god 10,000 years ago. It's considered the most powerful sword technique of the present age. Practicing the Tai sword for a single day can offer the benefits of absorbing the essence of heaven and earth for an entire year, greatly aiding in cultivation. And hearing this, Lu Heng says, does this mean only those with profound cultivation can unlock it? At the same time he is happy and thinking, is it possible that I have some kind of bug? And Ji Rishuang tells Lu Heng, there's no specific requirement in terms of the cultivation realm. It's only accessible for those under the age of 30. And Lu Heng is looking at that thing carefully, but he is very happy, and he is thinking, haha, being young is truly wonderful. Mo Tian is already over 300 years old, it's simply impossible for him to cultivate. Refreshing, indeed. Then Lu Heng starts smiling, and Ji Rishuang tells Lu Heng further, I remember, Master originally sealed his own memory in frustration because he couldn't cultivate this technique. And Lu Heng says, No wonder I have no memory of it myself. And Ji Rushuang is looking at Lu Heng with loving eyes, and she is saying, and now, being able to unlock the technique, it means, Master is truly unparalleled in the world, his spirit and appearance both truly reflect the cultivation of yang energy in his prime years. And Long Xian is thinking, the prime of youth's strong yang energy. Master. I can't. Unable to absorb any more of Master's yang energy. Doesn't that mean during dual cultivation? Can you feel yang energy of the Master's prime youth? And Long Xian says to Lu Heng, disciple understands Master's painstaking cultivation efforts. It is also meant to attain a superior spirit for the disciple's dual cultivation. And Lu Heng starts getting worried after listening to their words, but he is thinking, what should I do? Even the yang energy can't overshadow the weakness of the spiritual energy. If I do double cultivation with them now, I will certainly die. But then Lu Heng screams, and on hearing Lu Heng scream, a disciple starts running inside. And Jiang Jiao is saying, Master, the righteous alliance has reached the foot of Demon God Mountain. Among them, the leaders of the 8 major sects have all arrived, each one surpassing the realm of martial kings. But when Jiang Jiao looks ahead, she is surprised. Then Lu Heng says, the inevitable has finally arrived. And Ji Rushuang says, Master, what should we do now? Then Lu Heng says, all right then. Listen up, disciples. Follow me out to meet the enemy in battle. On the other side, we see a lot of soldiers. And they are outside Lu Heng's gate. And they are saying, infiltrate the Demon God Mountain and vanquish the Demon Lord. We're approaching the barrier ahead. Halt. Await further orders. And this man's name is Bai Jianji, master of Wuan sect. And Bai Jianji says, come out, you wretched Demon Lord, and face your demise. And another man says to Bai Jianji, Master Bai, let's just storm into the Demon God Mountain and slaughter every single demon inside. And Bai Jianji says, on the Demon God Mountain, there are countless demonic formations. We'd better wait here quietly for now. If that old Demon Lord refuses to come out, we'll have to charge in and hunt him down. Then suddenly there's some movement near the barrier, and everyone becomes alert. Then Lu Heng comes out of the barrier and he says, who is it? Who dares to say that I won't come out? And now Lu Heng and his disciples come in front of them. And as soon as the soldiers see Lu Heng, they get scared. But Bai Jianji says to Lu Heng, I am the strongest sect. The sect pastor is Spain's sect Bai Jianji. Today, I, as the leader of lead the Reihan warriors to eradicate evil and exterminate the likes of you. You may wonder why I've suddenly dared to assemble the demon-slaying alliance. Because, based on my information, the Demon Lord, motivation has gone into seclusion for training. He just changed to a new body, so his cultivation is definitely not stable yet. And after listening to Bai Jianji, all the soldiers get motivated, and they say, fantastic. The old Demon Lord actually changed his body. His cultivation must have taken a huge hit. And Bai Jianji is saying, now the Demon Lord is at his weakest state. As long as he dares to step out of the formation boundary, it's his death sentence. And Lu Heng says, my death sentence? Now I'm outside the barrier, come and fight. And the soldiers are scared seeing Lu Heng in front, and Bai Jianji is grinding his teeth. Then Lu Heng comes in front of Bai Jianji and says to him, you're not capable. Too weak. And Bai Jianji is very angry on hearing his insult. And we see that Lu Heng's female disciples are also making fun of Bai Jianji, and they are saying, what a load of nonsense, this so-called righteous alliance, they're all worthless. Master is mighty. And Ji Rushuang says, Master is mighty. Demon Temple is mighty. And Jiang Jiao says, as expected of Master. And after listening to these people, Bai Jianji becomes very angry, and he says, you demon, stop your arrogance. Then Bai Jianji prepares an attack to attack Lu Heng. And he moves forward to attack Lu Heng. But Lu Heng stands calmly at that place. And he is just looking ahead. And Bai Jianji's attack is about to hit Lu Heng. But then Lu Heng clicks on the system, and the system tells Lu Heng, the host has confirmed the use of Martial Saint Realm Experience Cardi. The experience of the Martial Saint realm begins. And Lu Heng goes into his inner mind and he is thinking, it feels so warm. It feels like the whole universe is confusing me with spiritual essence. And now Lu Heng also activates his power, and he stops Bai Jianji's attack very easily. And Bai Jianji cannot believe it, but then Bai Jianji's sword breaks and he falls backwards. And Lu Heng is spreading his aura all around. Then Bai Jianji's soldiers are worried for Bai Jianji, and Bai Jianji is thinking, this demon lord is truly unfathomable. Just the condensed spiritual energy alone makes it impossible for me to approach. It appears I've acted too rashly. Then as soon as Bai Jianji looks ahead, he is very surprised, and stones are rising everywhere. And Lu Heng has summoned a huge sword, seeing which Bai Jianji is very surprised. And this thing seems impossible to him. And Lu Heng is using his power. And a man is saying, this kind of power has already transcended the martial king realm. And a girl says this demon has really broken through to the realm of martial saint? And a soldier is surprised and says, martial arts saint realm. Capable of comprehending the heavens and the earth, discerning the balance of yin and yang, and altering the course of destiny. A martial arts saint realm cultivator can make the sect prosperous for 5,000 years. The difference between ordinary martial cultivators and martial saints is like that between mortals and gods. And a soldier says to Bai Jianji, Master Bai is too hasty. With such arrogance, this demon must have some kind of backing. Then Lu Heng says, those who offend my demon temple, and Lu Heng lowers his sword, and creates a spiritual body behind him, seeing which all the soldiers are scared. And Lu Heng is saying to them, no matter how far you are, I will eliminate you, and Bai Jianji is in shock. Then he is not able to say anything, and his soldiers are saying, martial saint, indeed, martial saint, this, what are we still fighting for? Master Bai, don't blame Lise for lacking courage. And Bai Jianji is also very scared. But he gathers courage. Then he takes out a talisman, and moves forward to attack Lu Heng, and he is saying, a bunch of cowards. Don't wait for me to stay alive and come for you. And Bai Jianji moves forward to attack Lu Heng with his broken sword. And Lu Heng moves his spiritual body's hand forward, and he catches Bai Jianji. And seeing this, everyone is very surprised. And a soldier is saying, that's the void-shifting talisman. Then a man says, the void-shifting talisman is said to traverse the void, a secret talisman refined by the legendary martial saint. And the girl says, such a top-tier life-saving technique, yet it was thwarted by this demon. And seeing Lu Heng's power, Long Xian and her female disciples are very happy, and they are saying, as expected of the master, this realm is already invincible in the world. And all the female disciples are cheering up for Lu Heng, and Bai Jianji is getting very angry, and he is thinking, I am the dignified sect master of the Wuan sect. Then he shouts at Lu Heng, if you want to kill, then kill quickly. Don't humiliate me. But Lu Heng smilingly tells him, who else dares? Then Long Xian comes in front of those soldiers and says to them, you righteous bastards, still won't kneel down. And seeing Long Xian, all the soldiers get scared. Then one of the soldiers says, Brother Bai, we will remember you. With green hills remaining, there's no worry of lacking firewood. We will definitely avenge you, farewell. And the girl says, everyone, this demon is formidable. I'll head back to request the treasures of my sect, the heaven-reliant divine sword, and then return to vanquish this demon. Everyone, hold on for a moment. I'll go and return very quickly. Then those people start running, and some soldiers stop and they are saying, what shall we do if the sect master is captured by this demon? Then one soldier says, we can't leave the sect master behind. And the other soldier says, but there's only dead end ahead of us. Then Lu Heng comes in front of those people and he says, Wuan sect, are you willing to submit to me, the demon lords? Will you pledge allegiance to my demon temple? Life or death? The choice is yours. And after listening to Lu Heng, all the soldiers get scared, and Jiang Jiao is saying to Bai Jianji, do not fail to recognize the power of the demon lord. With the majestic presence of my martial saint master, countless will bow their heads before my master on this continent. You should take pride in being the first martial cultivator to be brolight under the sway of my master. If there is any more hesitation, Wu's sect is full of people. And I won't let a single one left alive. And after listening to Jiang Jiao, all the soldiers get very scared, and all those soldiers start getting scared, and Bai Jianji is thinking, the 1,000-year foundation of the Wu sect. The foundation must not be annihilated by my hands. Then Bai Jianji says to Lu Heng, I, Bai Jian, surrender. I pay respects to the demon lord. And when the soldiers hear Bai Jianji's words, they say, Master, it can't be. Master, the Wu sect will perish standing, but we will never surrender for survival. And Long Xian says to Lu Heng, Master, allow me to exterminate them. But Lu Heng remains silent. And when Bai Jianji hears this, he gets very scared. And he says to Lu Heng, I beg the demon lord to spare my disciple's life. I will definitely convince these fools. And after thinking for a while, Lu Heng says to Long Xian, do you have any good suggestions for making Wu sect's loyalty remain steadfast and unwavering? And Long Xian says to Lu Heng, this is simple. The demonic transformation technique you taught me is perfect for dealing with such treacherous individuals. And when Bai Jianji hears this, he gets very scared, and he says, the demonic transformation technique. Do you want to turn us into demon slaves? And Ning Yanran laughs and says, the servant's life and death will become dependent on its master. Only demon servants can be devoted and loyal for a lifetime, with no wavering. And now the soldiers get ready to fight, because they don't want to become demons. And a soldier attacks them, and he says, I'd choose death over becoming a loyal dog to a demon. And Lu Heng says, you got no choice other than becoming my loyal dog. And Lu Heng uses his power and throws them away. Then Long Xian uses her power, and starts turning them into demons, and seeing this Bai Jianji starts crying a lot. Lu Heng then lets go of Bai Jianji, and he falls to the ground. And Lu Heng says to Bai Jianji, stop, Bai Jian. You seem to possess the qualities to become a martial saint. I can refrain from using the demonic transformation technique on you, so as not to affect your Dao heart. And Bai Jianji is surprised to hear this, and Lu Heng further says to Bai Jianji, I'm giving you a chance to catch up to my realm. The demonic transformation technique can convert the target into the caster's demonic servant, but for it to be effective, the caster's spiritual energy and realm must be vastly superior. Therefore, the sole way to dispel the demonic transformation technique is for the demonic servant's realm to surpass that of the master. The heavenly oath is not bound by realms, however, success requires both parties' voluntary and sincere agreement. And the system says, Mo Tian's memory excerpts regarding the demonic transformation technique and the heavenly oath. And Lu Heng is thinking, the only means to make Bai Jianji loyal to me is through the heavenly oath. The demonic transformation technique is bound to vanish once the martial saint's experience concludes. So it's best if. And Lu Heng tells Bai Jianji, giving you a chance to catch up, but you must swear the heavenly oath. And Bai Jianji is surprised to hear this demand of Lu Heng. Then Ji Rushuang comes behind Lu Heng and says the confidence of the master is truly admirable. And Jiang Jiao says, of course it is. Bai Jianji can't catch up to the master. If he aims for martial saint, the master would have long surpassed the martial emperor, and Bai Jianji is thinking, once the heavenly oath is violated, the swearer will inevitably suffer backlash, leading to spiritual and physical annihilation. But at least they can retain their willpower, continue to advance their realm and cultivation, while also safeguarding the Wu sect. And Bai Jianji points his sword at Lu Heng and says, today, I, Bai Jianji, solemnly swear to dedicate my life to serving the demon lord, for all eternity, never to rebel. If I violate this oath, may I be struck by heavenly thunder and suffer a wretched demise. And seeing this, Bai Jianji's soldiers get surprised, but we see that nothing happens at that place. And seeing this, Bai Jianji also gets surprised. He wonders why his oath is not working. And Long Xian is saying, why is there no reaction to the heavenly oath? Logically speaking, there should be visions of heaven and earth appearing. And Lu Heng also gets confused as to what is happening. Then Lu Heng remembers something. Then he thinks, so, by the way, the true demon lord died long ago. I'm just pretending to be him. Then he says to Bai Jianji, Ahemli's my real name, Lu Heng. And after knowing Lu Heng's real name, Ji Rushuang says, so the master's real name is LL Hung. And Jiang Jiao is saying, cough. You all didn't know? Actually, no one understands the master better than me. And Long Xian she tells Jiang Jiao, I think you are pretending to know, right? And Bai Jianji again starts taking oath and he is saying, I, Bai Jianji, solemnly swear here, 1. Bai Jianji, vow to serve Lord Lu Heng for the rest of my life, for all eternity, never to rebel. As the heavens and earth bear witness, with thunder as my oath. And now Bai Jianji's oath has been completed, due to which Lu Heng is very happy, and he is thinking, humph, with this martial king protecting me, it's like having an unlimited marital king experience card. And the system tells Lu Heng, the host has completed the hidden mission, subdued and defeated the martial king powerhouse, rewarded with 10,000 contribution points. And the shop is now open. Activate the main quest, elevate cultivation to martial master, reward, 500 contribution points. Activate the side quest, remain steadfast, must not succumb to the temptations of the charming disciple, duration, 7 days, completion reward, 1,000 contribution points. Activate loyalty mode. And Lu Heng clicks on open and loyalty mode gets turned on. And the system tells Lu Heng, please engage in physical contact with the disciple to obtain loyalty information. And Lu Heng is thinking, I can't believe I have to initiate physical contact? Fine, let's start with testing Bai Jianji. Then Lu Heng calls Bai Jianji's name and asks him to stand up, and also puts his hand on his shoulder. And as soon as he puts his hand, the system tells Lu Heng, yes. Bai Jianji, 100% loyalty. Then Long Xian says to Lu Heng, how can you favor new disciples? And Jiang Jiao says, after achieving the age of adulthood, the master has never taken the initiative to touch our bodies. And Ning Yiren says, I also want to be patted by the master. And Lu Heng says, Jianji is a male disciple. He's different from you all. And Lu Heng thinks, no system prompts, does it mean I must initiate contact with the other person? And Long Xian says, could it be that the master has a preference for same-sex relationships? And Lu Heng thinks, before my martial saint experience card expires, I'll take this opportunity to give you all a proper lesson. And Long Xian says to Ning Yanran, perhaps it's a side effect brought by cultivation. And Ning Yanran says, what can we do? But then Lu Heng hits both of them and says to them, you're just spouting nonsense. And Jiang Jiao says to them, no one knows the master better than me. The master is actually bisexual. But Lu Heng hits her too and says to her, you're also spouting nonsense. And Lu Heng is thinking, it appears I'll need to take the initiative. Then Lu Heng starts going forward and he says, look at how well the 4th and 5th disciples behave, they're so composed. At a glance, they're more reliable than you all. But then the system tells Lu Heng that both of them are not worth believing, so Lu Heng is thinking, at a glance, they're more reliable than you all. These 2 disciples really have some opinions about me. According to Mo Tian's memory, Ji Rushuang was forced to join Liang Shan, while Ning Yanran is purely deep in her scheming. Seems like in the future, I'll need to watch out for these 2 troublemakers more often. There, Lu Heng rose to fame with a single battle, and the title of martial saint spread throughout the world. Tianfeng Kingdom Imperial City. Even the sovereign of Tianfeng is now aware of this matter. Then we see a man, to whom a man has come, and he is saying, your humble subject, pays respects to the sovereign. And the man sitting in front says, my esteemed general, no need for formalities. I've summoned you back urgently because there's an important matter that requires your attention. Then the man says, thank you, your majesty, please give me your orders. And he is sovereign of Tianfeng Kingdom Li Xian. And this man says, I order you to prepare a generous gift and head to the demon god temple. You must meet Mo Tian in person, conveying our nation's desire for amicable relations. If feasible, endeavor to invite him to our capital. And he is, General Gu Chang'an, the guardian general of Tianfeng Kingdom. And the general says, your humble servant will certainly not fail in fulfilling the mission. After this the scene shifts to Demon God Mountain Temple of the Heavenly Demon. And we see that a banquet party is going on at this place. And Bai Jianji is very happy and he is drinking, and a girl is saying to everyone, don't stop, keep drinking. And another girl says, that's fantastic, experiencing someone else serving me for the first time. And everyone is having fun. And Lu Heng has his 3 disciples around him, and Lu Heng is thinking that he is having a lot of fun. Then Jiang Jiao says to Lu Heng, Master, let's have 2 more drinks. And Jiang Jiao is thinking, if I could get Master drunk, perhaps. And Long Xian is thinking, tonight, Master might end up choosing one of us two. And she says to Lu Heng, let's each take turns to offer the Master 2 drinks. And she is thinking, after finishing this glass, bring another one he. And then Ning Yanren comes from below Lu Heng and Ning Yanren is saying to Lu Heng, Master, just have fun with everyone. And Ning Yanren is happy and thinking, dual cultivation, I must do dual cultivation with Master tonight. And all 3 disciples want to have fun with Lu Heng, and Lu Heng is thinking, this celebration banquet has taken a sour turn. No, if I get drunk, I might accidentally end up using the second martial saint experience card. Then Lu Heng says, don't be too indulgent in the main hall. I'm also tired. Zlanner, help me back to my quarters. And hearing this, Long Xian starts following Lu Heng, and she is very happy, and she is thinking, it seems the Master still prefers me after all. And Long Xian is taking Lu Heng to his room and she is saying, Master, today is night. And moonlight is really beautiful, we might as well. And Lu Heng says to Long Xian, Xianer, how are the resource stockpiles at my demon temple currently? And Lu Heng is thinking, I asked for your assistance because I didn't know where the demon's celestial chamber was, not because I wanted to engage in private cultivation with you. And Long Xian says, disciple will go check on, please wait a moment. And Long Xian goes out of Lu Heng's room, and Lu Heng sits comfortably, and he is thinking. Then he looks at the system window, System Mall. Please select the category of items the host wishes to exchange for. 1. Celestial Treasures 2. Supreme Techniques 3. Exquisite Attire. And he is thinking, by the way, system, it's time to test your wisdom. Recommend me the foundation building cultivation technique that suits me best. And the system says, host, please wait a moment. Search is in progress. The path of heavenly transformation uses the human body as the medium to cultivate a heaven and earth, and uses the acupuncture points of the human body as a supplement. This is the most suitable foundation building cultivation technique for ordinary people embarking on the path of martial cultivation. And Lu Heng is saying, but the price is unexpectedly high at 10,000 contribution points. I only have 1,500 contribution points left now. And then Long Xian comes, and she comes in and says to Lu Heng, here is the list, I've sorted everything out. Please review. And Lu Heng thinks, according to the Matian's memory, this is a jade slip used for storing information. With just a sweep of your spiritual power, you can instantly discern the contents inside. But I'm not even a martial artist yet, so where would I get spiritual power from? And Lu Heng says to Long Xian, okay, leave it here with me for now. I'll let you know if I need anything further. You can go now. But Long Xian says to Lu Heng, Master, you've shown great prowess today. I'm sure you must be tired. How about, let Xianer come and give the Master a shoulder massage. And Long Xian is massaging Lu Heng's shoulder. And Lu Heng is enjoying it a lot, he is feeling very comfortable. And Long Xian is saying to Lu Heng, Master, is the pressure okay for you? And Long Xian is taking advantage of this moment, and is looking at Lu Heng very lovingly. And Lu Heng has made Long Xian lie down on the bed, and Long Xian also says that she is ready for this, but then Lu Heng says, what am I doing again? And Lu Heng says to Long Xian, alright, let's call it a day for now. I'll be entering seclusion. No one is allowed to disturb me without my orders. So Long Xian says, apologies for the disrespect. Xianer will take her leave now. And Long Xian starts going out of Lu Heng's room, and Lu Heng is thinking it was really nerve-wracking. I need to speed up my cultivation. Otherwise, with the temptation of these enchanting female demons, even Tang Xing wouldn't be able to resist. The next day. Demon Mountain Tianmo Palace. Fuyu Bathhouse. In order to cultivate the path of the heavenly transformation technique, one must brew the Yama golden broth to temper the physical body. The ingredients used in its preparation, such as the 9-leaf vermilion fruit and the 7-star sea hawthorn, are truly treasures of heaven and earth. Originally, Long Xian was tasked with gathering the ingredient manna. I didn't expect. In pursuit of these 2 heavenly treasures, presumptuous. She went as far as annihilating an entire sect just to obtain them. So efficient, Master will surely praise me, won't he? It's a bit excessive, honestly. All these female disciples are like fierce bandits. And then the system says, hidden mission activated. And Lu Heng gets surprised seeing this and he says, could this be retribution coming for me? My merit points have plummeted to negative 1,000. And the system tells Lu Heng, activate the morality system, 9 gain 1 merit point for each good deed completed. Lose 1 merit point for each bad deed. System reminder, disciples share the master's consequences. Render merit points, -10. And Lu Heng is saying, it's all because of what Long Xian and her crew did. According to the memory of old Manhwa, the reason why those female disciples have a penchant for killing is entirely due to their devotion to the demon lord. Either join me in embracing slaughter, or join them in death. The decision is yours. The decision is yours. So, even if there are no system missions, I can't allow them to kill indiscriminately anymore. Of course, to achieve this, the premise is not to let them discover that I am the fake demon lord. Therefore I must become stronger as soon as possible. This way, I won't be exposed. Wow, it hurts so much. In Ma Tian's memory, I read such an article. In the divine prison, endless evil spirits are suppressed. For those who have committed grave sins in life, they will be subjected to the boiling golden broth brewed by King Yama. The first step in the transformation of the heavens into the Tao is to refine the body in the Yama golden broth. Therefore, the suffering to be endured is incomparable. It is said that those burdened with heavy sins will experience even greater suffering when practicing this cultivation method. It may even lead to the death of the practitioner. It could even result in the practitioner's demise, including that old man. The upper limit of cultivation for this path of heavenly transformation it's also unclear how much higher it surpasses the cultivation of the extreme demon heavenly scripture, practiced by the Ma Tian later on. However, this path of heavenly transformation, obtained through the exchange of 10,000 contribution points, is only a fragment. After cultivation, it merely achieves the breakthrough of the first realm. If you want to acquire further techniques, one must still exchange contribution points for them. I can't stand it anymore. I've reached my limit. I strongly suspect that some of the sins of those female disciples have been unfairly placed on my shoulders. However, I do feel that my physique has indeed undergone some changes. My bones and muscles have become significantly harder than before. All these female disciples are like fierce bandits. The power of the heavens to transform into Tao is truly wonderful. How much contribution will I make in the future? After a few hours of rest, Lu Heng lay back into the Yama golden broth once more. And Lu Heng is resting. But then Long Xian arrives at that place and says to Lu Heng, Master, this is the premium blood ginseng you requested. And Lu Heng says, okay, just leave it to the side. Whenever I'm on the brink of collapse, I take a dose of premium blood ginseng. Time passes second by second. Lu Heng moves back and forth in the Yama golden broth, coming and going repeatedly. After 2 days. But what brings joy to Lu Heng is, he finally broke through to the martial master realm in the bathhouse. After this the scene shifts to Demon Mountain, Demon Palace, and the main hall, and Lu Heng tells all the disciples, today, I've come to declare something. In the future, our sect will revise its regulations to operate with greater integrity. After descending the mountain, one must refrain from evil deeds and avoid indiscriminate killing. One must not act recklessly. Everything must be based on evidence, and actions must be justified and reasonable. Does everyone understand? But all the girls are a bit confused, and seeing this Lu Heng thinks, that's not good, I'm too impatient. With such a drastic change all of a sudden, those female demon leaders must be suspicious, right? But I truly am anxious to persuade you to switch sides for the better. And Jiang Jiao says the master's plans are inscrutable, guiding from the shadows. Surely, the master is devising a new grand plan. The master must have his reasons for not speaking. With our intelligence, it's best not to speculate recklessly. And Lu Heng says, well, ahem, that's right. And Ji Rishuang says, Master, may I ask, what does it take to become a good person? And Lu Heng makes a weird face after hearing this. And Lu Heng is thinking, are these guys really influenced so severely by Mo Tian? Don't even know what a good person is? Then Lu Heng says, good and evil are often just a thought. Being self-disciplined to assist others is good, repaying kindness is good, and supporting the weak against the strong is good. And Long Xian says, Master, are you implying that by eliminating those stronger than us and establishing dominance, we are doing good deeds? But Lu Heng says, tomorrow, you shall descend the mountain and assist the villagers in planting crops and harvesting in autumn, experiencing the life of ordinary people. It will greatly benefit your breakthrough in realms. And Ji Rishuang says, farm work? And Long Xian says, can actually break through the realm. And Jiang Zhio happily says, as expected of our master, you must have sensed some anomalies down the mountain. But then a girl comes to that place and tells Lu Heng, report, the envoy of the Tianfeng kingdom, Guardian General Chang'an, requests to meet with the lord of the demon temple, the demon lord. And Lu Heng says, the general Gu of Tianfeng kingdom? And Lu Heng is thinking, here comes another one, what do you want from me? And the general comes in and he says, Gui Chang'an pays his respects to the demon lord. Our sovereign has heard that you, demon lord, have achieved a breakthrough to martial saint. He has sent me on a special mission to deliver this token of gratitude to you in person. Please accept it, demon lord. And Long Xian gives that thing to Lu Heng, and seeing that thing Lu Heng's eyes start shining, and he is thinking, don't look and you won't know, but once you look, you'll be startled. Apart from having 100,000 high-grade spirit stones, there are also precious items such as 5th-grade golden lotus, celestial pivot xuanji fruit, phoenix feather golden fragrant wood, etc. The important thing is, the sovereign of Tianfeng directly sent a high-grade spiritual treasure. It's still aggressive. And the general further says, this is the Dark Knight Divine Spear. Hope you like it, demon lord. And seeing this thing Lu Heng is thinking, this Gui Chang'an's face is full of arrogance, clearly looking down on the demon god temple. And Lu Heng says to the general, go back, tell your lord I have received the gift. And the general gets angry on hearing this, and he thinks he actually dares to disrespect our great Tianfeng kingdom. How can this be tolerated? And the general says to Lu Heng, I have recently made a breakthrough and become the first martial saint realm master in my Tianfeng kingdom. I must show respect. I have recently made a breakthrough and become the first martial saint realm master in my Tianfeng kingdom. I must show respect. So, I want to take some advice, demon lord. I hope the demon lord will give me some advice. And after listening to the general's words, Lu Heng is thinking, should I pee? Is it possible to use another martial saint experience card? And Long Xian comes forward and says, bold Gu Chang'an, the body of my master embodies holiness and wisdom, how dare you defile it? Withdraw immediately. And Ji Rishuang says, indeed, would my esteemed master condescend to engage in battle with you? Don't seek death. Then Lu Heng calls Bai Jianji, and Bai Jianji comes and the general is surprised to see him, and Bai Jianji comes in front, and seeing Bai Jianji the general is thinking, one of the top 10 experts of the Tianfeng kingdom, Bai Jianji, actually submit to the demon lord like this. That kind of gaze, completely devoid of any trace of unusual sentiment. This is so scary. And Bai Jianji says, I was once defeated by my master with a single move. Y'all beat me, let's talk about the battle with my master again. And the general is thinking, one move? Can the difference between the martial saint and the martial king can be exaggerated to such an extent? According to the legends, the martial saint is said to wield the power to annihilate a whole country. It seems to be true indeed. Oops, I acted impulsively. If I were to be defeated here, the entire Tianfeng kingdom would be in grave danger. But then Lu Heng stops Bai Jianji, and he asks the general to leave from here. And the general is shocked to hear this, and he is thinking, you're actually letting me go? But I openly challenged him in front of everyone on his territory. And now, with his martial saint's prowess, he could easily take my life. Is this still the infamous cold-blooded and murderous villain from the rumors? After this, Lu Heng is going to another place, and while going he says, Gu Chang'an has lost even the courage to unsheath his sword. I must have successfully deceived him, right? And then the system says to Lu Heng, host has activated a hidden task, earning the respect of a master, and gains plus 100 merit points. And hearing this, Lu Heng is thinking, merit points not only can be exchanged for items in the system but also used for system lottery draws. And the system says, gain the respect of masters? Merit points * 1001 at current merit points, minus 900, and Lu Heng says the issue is, Long Xian deducted 1000 merit points from me when she destroyed the sect. Now, I'm still in the negative. Stay calm. For me, cultivation comes first and foremost. Then Lu Heng is going ahead with his disciples. And then the general sees Lu Heng, and he says to Lu Heng, didn't you say let me go? And Lu Heng says, you've dared to offend the martial saint. I let you leave because I don't want my grand hall dirted, so go find a place to await death. I never expected you all to actually escape back to the capital of Tianfeng Kingdom? Very well, I'll grant you this favor then. Let the capital of Tianfeng Kingdom be your burial ground. And the general is very nervous, and he is thinking, I can't. I'm still uncertain about Mo Tian's true intentions. How could I just rashly return like that? Then Jiang Jiao said to the general, didn't you hear? Gu Chang'an, my master is generous and won't bother you. Leave quickly. But then the general bows down in front of Jiang Jiao and says to her, Miss, could you please convey a message to your master for me? And Jiang Jiao says, what message? And the general says, Chang'an doesn't know his place. Please, Your Excellency, have mercy. If possible, I would like to ask to become a disciple of Your Excellency. Chang'an is willing to serve Your Excellency diligently, giving his all until death. And Long Xian says, what is he up? This matter, we must ask my master to decide. General Gu, please come to the side hall for a brief rest. Then we see Lu Heng, who is increasing his power, and the system is talking to Lu Heng, side quest, Yin prosperity, Yang decline, recruit a male disciple. And Lu Heng is thinking, this guy, Mo Tian, only accepted so many female disciples to harvest Yin energy and absorb their vital essence. If I'm not practicing the extreme demon sky to need to follow ally orders, right? Then we see the scene outside Lu Heng's room, and Jiang Jiao and Ji Rushuang are going forward, and Jiang Jiao is saying, I heard that the master is secluded in the warm bathhouse for closed-door cultivation. And Ji Rushuang says, aren't you curious about it? And Jiang Jiao says, through this report, how about we take a peek? But then Bai Jianji stops them and says to them, my master ordered me to keep you all under watch and prevent you from getting near the warm bathhouse. And on hearing this, all three of them get angry, and Long Xian angrily tells Bai Jianji, we have something important to report. But Bai Jianji says, have you all forgotten the instructions from our master? During seclusion, unless it's a matter of life and death, no disturbances are allowed. Please leave. Then when Long Xian is going ahead, the general comes in front of her and the general says to Long Xian, Miss Long Xian, may I ask, how did it go? So Long Xian says, my master is in seclusion. And the general says, it's all right, I can wait. And Long Xian says, then just wait. My master's seclusion could last anywhere from 3 to 6 months, or even 2 to 3 years. And the general says to his soldiers, take my message to the emperor. And the soldier says, but general, the Tianfeng Kingdom cannot live without you. But the general says, don't worry, I will return. You all take care of the tasks I've assigned with peace of mind. Then we see Lu Heng. Lu Heng's physical body is continuously strengthening Linda the tempering of the Ama golden broth. But the sense of pain hasn't diminished. Although there's an abundance of spirit stones for cultivation, the pace of progress is steadily slowing down. According to Lu Heng's calculations, it will take at least 3 months to reach the martial sovereign realm. It's really tough to endure for 3 months like this. I wonder if there are pain-relieving items available in the mall. However, one day, half a month later, Lu Heng is still increasing his power, But then he opens his eyes and is surprised to see the system, and the system is telling Lu Heng, Mal, secret technique, 5 Emperor's divine arts, through cultivation in the 4 extremes and the mind, summon 5 deities and demons to strengthen oneself and empower the martial soul. Redemption method, complete specific hidden mission, return to the previous menu, and Lu Heng becomes very happy on hearing this, and he is saying, the 5 Emperor's divine arts seems to be a perfect fit for me. In Mo Tian's readable memories, the 5 Emperors are rumored to be the 5 strongest individuals, reaching the pinnacle of Emperor realm, serving as the pinnacle of power in this world, but later, for some unknown reason, they suddenly disappeared from the continent. In martial cultivation, typically, there is only one dantian. Once a person reaches the martial master realm, they solidify their foundation, which also has its limits. But the 5 Emperors' divine arts can open up the dantian, allowing martial cultivators to attain unprecedented achievements in any realm. And Lu Heng is thinking, I've actually only used 30% of my strength. As expected of a martial saint, you are truly beyond the reach of a martial king like me. Not only can it greatly enhance cultivation speed, but it also makes one unbeatable in the same realm. Not only that, but the 5 Emperors' divine arts of the 5 Emperors can also open up the spiritual sea and produce a second soul. This is simply an incredible divine technique. It seems that striving to complete a system mission is the best approach. Who knows, maybe among them, there's a guiding mission that can reveal hidden mission related to the 5 Emperors' divine arts. But for the subsequent mission, I might have to descend into the Demon God Mountain. I can't rely solely on walking to explore this world, can I? Then we see the 3 disciples, who are secretly watching Bai Jianji. And Ji Rushuang is saying, this annoying Bai Jianji. Then we see Lu Heng, who is still increasing his power, and he is thinking, to deceive them, I must maintain a high level of sophistication in both actions and behavior. Otherwise, the truth will come out, and my life will be at risk. And Lu Heng is imagining that everything about him has been found out, and all his disciples are coming to kill him, and they are saying, our master doesn't know how to fly through the air using martial arts? He must not be our real master. Those who impersonate the master shall be mercilessly killed. And Lu Heng gets very scared thinking about all these things, but he is saying, but to fly through the air, at the very least, one must attain the realm of martial sovereign. Should I seclude myself for 3 months, aiming to reach the martial sovereign realm before going out? Or should I go out now and attempt to complete the assigned missions? Wait, this is exactly what I wanted. And Lu Heng becomes very happy. Then we see the scene outside, where Ji Rushuang and Long Xian have arrived, and Bai Jianji is speaking to them, please be mindful of your actions and avoid disrupting the master's cultivation. And Ji Rushuang says, we have urgent matters to report. And Jiang Jiao says, stop making a big deal out of trivial matters. Then Long Xian says, must master sane an unofficial disciple. But Bai Jianji is not paying much attention to what they are saying. But then Lu Heng comes out of his room and he says, what's the matter? Do you need to report me? Then Bai Jianji greets Lu Heng, and Long Xian says to Lu Heng, something to report? And Jiang Jiao says to Lu Heng, reporting to master, during the half-month period of your seclusion, Gu Chang'an remained outside the barrier tower, kneeling for half a month. And Lu Heng says, my barrier tower is not a sacred place. Why kneel there? And Long Xian says, replying to master, Gu Chang'an seeks to become a disciple of master. He must have thought you were in seclusion inside the barrier tower. And Lu Heng is surprised to hear this, and he is thinking, the barrier tower has indeed been the practice site for the old Manhwa for a long time. How could Gu Chang'an have known that I was actually in the hot bath holes? And Ji Rushuang says to Lu Heng, and he hasn't eaten or moved the entire time, as if he's been turned to stone. So scary. And listening to her, Lu Heng says, in that case, I'll go and... After this the scene shifts to Demon Mountain, barrier tower. And the general is sitting on his knees under the tower, and his leg is also hurting a lot, but still he is bearing it. But then the general feels something, and we see that Lu Heng has come to that place, and Lu Heng also has 2 wings. And Lu Heng is looking at the general, and the general is also happy to see Lu Heng. Then Lu Heng starts blowing strong winds with his wings, seeing which the general is surprised. And then he feels something different, and he sees himself in a desert, and seeing this the general is very shocked. There is only sand all around him. And then he hears the sound of a horse's feet. And we see that many soldiers are coming towards him. And he is able to see a very big shadow in front of him, and seeing this he is thinking, this. Could it be martial arts phenomenon? It is rumored that when a martial saint is born, an extraordinary phenomenon is bound to occur. Previously, when the righteous alliance came to form by the demon sects, attacked the demon temple, there were no reports of this. I never thought I would witness it with my own eyes now. Could it be that when Bai Jianji was defeated earlier, and Mo Tian hadn't fully stabilized his martial saint cultivation? Only after secluded cultivation for half a month has he finally reached the ultimate stable state of martial saint. If that's the case, then his true strength is simply unimaginable. Then Lu Heng takes the name of the general, and the general bends down on his knees, and Lu Heng says to the general, "What do you seek from this seat?" So the general says, "Please, Elder Mo Tian, accept me as your disciple. I, Gu Chang'an, am willing to serve you wholeheartedly, attending to your every need." And Lu Heng starts smiling after listening to the general's words, and at the same time he is thinking, however, the so-called martial arts phenomenon is actually. And Lu Heng is saying, Sky Wings Saint phenomenon? A decorative item from the mall? 500 contribution points? There are 1,000 contribution points left, just enough to get these 2 items. Perfect. These are great for showing off. Perfect for impressing the disciples. Then Lu Heng comes down, and he says to the general, "Very well, since you are so sincere, considering your steadfast dedication over the past half-month, I will accept you." And the general says to Lu Heng, "Thank you, Master. May the Master's legacy last forever, reigning supreme over the world." And then Lu Heng gets a notification from the system. Ding, completed side mission, Yin prosperous, Yang declining. Recruit 1 male Yang energy. Recruit 3 more male disciples. And Lu Heng is thinking, but this side mission, will it ever end? Then we see that all 3 disciples are running towards that place, and Lu Heng is saying to the general, "Gu Chang'an, I accept you as my disciple. I will soon hold a grand disciple acceptance ceremony to officially acknowledge you." And the general thanks Lu Heng. And all 3 disciples are watching this from a distance, and Ji Rishuang says to Long Xian, "Master, suddenly accepting male disciples? Did obtain that kind of secret technique?" And all 3 are imagining that something might happen between Lu Heng and the general. And thinking this, Ji Rishuang gets very shocked, but Long Xian says to Ji Rishuang, "Jir, don't jump to conclusions about the master." And Ji Rishuang says, "All right, senior sister." Then Lu Heng says to Jiang Jiao, "An hour from now, gather all the disciples in the main hall." After this the scene shifts and Lu Heng is going ahead, and the system tells Lu Heng, "System reward has been issued. Due to the disciples' exceptional strength and talent, a hidden reward has been triggered, rewarding the host with 12,000 contribution points." And seeing this Lu Heng becomes happy and he says, 12,000 contribution points. This disciple is worth it. System, it's time to test your wisdom again. Tell me how to start the mission to obtain 5 Emperor's Divine Arts? And Lu Heng starts checking in the system, but the system ignores Lu Heng, due to which Lu Heng gets very angry. In recent days, Lu Heng has summarized something about the system. It seems that there is an intelligent entity within the system that only provides explanations on certain system rules. And Lu Heng says, "Looks like I need to trigger a hidden mission myself to obtain 5 Emperor's Divine Arts. Once you exceed certain rules, the system refuses to answer." After this the scene shifts and we see Demon Mountain. And a man is crossing the mountain path with great difficulty, and there is a huge ditch below that man, and that man is saying in fear, "Young lady, I've done my best, but the Demon Mountain is not a place someone like me can ascend." But then that man's foot slips, and the stone below him breaks, due to which he starts falling down in the ditch. But then someone comes to that place and saves that man. And it is Shi Qian, and that man becomes very happy after seeing Shi Qian. Then Shurchen takes that man out of the ditch, but that man starts vomiting. Then the man bends down on his knees and says to Shurchen, I have finally seen you, young lady. And Shurchen says, Uncle Fu, please get up. Take your time to speak. And the man says, it's about the master and the others.